Okay, we're getting ready to put the motor together here. So right now we're doing a glamorous job of scraping gaskets off in paint overspray. Here's the mounter after it got painted, so there's a lot of thick paint on the mount surfaces here. So I gotta clean it off. Gotta clean off the old gasket material in the paint. Gotta make sure the paint's not inside the surface in here where it matters for the parts to slide in. Pull out the old seals, so we just have a lot of little stuff that needs to get done. This is the important part of cold cleaning. So if it doesn't get done, it gives you lots of problems. You got to put your motor together. So you just got to spend the time to get this all done right. So I got two different scrapers I use. I got a regular style scraper here that's got a wedge cut on the end here, gives you a sharp edge. So you don't scrape it like this, you scrape it like this. The cuts on this side. And the other tool I got is my super scraper, which is buried over here. Yeah, the tripod's in the way already. What a shocker. So this is our super scraper here. Find a place for this stupid tripod to sit. So this here is a solid carbide tip on this. This does not work very good for scraping gaskets because it doesn't dig them off. But if it comes to doing hard stuff like carbon or paint, it'll scrape it right down to the surface, no problem. So we're going to clean off the last little bit that's left of everything. So even though I scraped it with the other scraper, you can see how it gets the paint and stuff off. The last little residue gets you right down the bare metal. Between these two here, you get most of what you want off. The carbide, you want to be real careful about hitting steel with it because it'll chip it. Or if you drop it, it'll be another problem. So there you go, get some more fuzz came off. So anyway, that's how that works. So this will get you down to 95% of everything off. If you want to last a little bit, use the other one. So the way you work this is you push it with your thumb, and then you rotate like that. It gives you a slicing action on the gasket. You also go back and forth and hit it hard. You can try pushing it through, because you're pushing real hard with the palm of your hand here. But going back and forth and banging into it seems to work better and gives you more control. And get the bead on it. And there's the paint. You can hear the paint. Okay, so I got all that area cleaned up. Paint on the inside, I use my pocket knife. They come in handy for all kinds of things. Just knock off most of the heavy stuff. The stipula color seems to be pretty brittle paint when you bake it. Doesn't hold on, which means it chips real easy. Doesn't seem to have much holding power. I'm kind of 50-50 whether I like it or not. I think my other stuff had a lot more chip resistance to it. So up here on the base gasket surface, you see I got gasket material still in here. So we come in here with this scraper and knock off that. You notice I'm not putting my hands in front of the scraper because that makes them not bleed if you don't do that. If you want to bleed, feel free to put your hands in front of the blade, because I will guarantee you that you will bleed. See how it slipped right off the edge there? If you hold the blade flat, see it cuts right off. See how the paint just flakes up? Doesn't have a lot of holding power there. gasket we're on right now. This little bit don't want to come off. Maybe gasket cinch residue. Try not to scrape all the way to the kiss because you can see there's a paint line over there, that's the gasket line. So I'm trying to keep some paint here on the edge so you won't see the aluminum. You can always come back and have a touch-up paint if you want. I don't do touch-up paint. It is what it is. There we go. Okay, that takes care of the rear cylinder. Do the front. Take the tape off of here. Keep my finger behind here so I can't get it. You see how I move the scraper back and forth. That's the shearing action you're trying to get. Cut it. So it kind of cuts it up. I'm putting steady pressure on it, but I'm not trying to push as hard as I can to shove it off. You let the shearing action kind of work the way as you're going. Gives you more control over what you're doing. I got my thumb over here, but I'm pushing this direction, not this way. You just got to make sure when it slips, you don't kind of come back. It'll cut the hell out of your thumb if you do. A lot of people use razor blades, but I don't like those too much. Got more control with this. Alright, took care of most of that. Make a little build up in my lifter block holes here. What you don't want to do is use any kind of sandpaper, or even a scrub pad's not too good because that puts grit inside the motor. At this point, whatever goes in the motor, whatever you got here goes into the motor. probably want to clean this one more time just to make sure things are clean, but you don't want to introduce grit, any kind of sandy grit into your motor when you're trying to do assembly. You always want to clean at least 3 times after you have any kind of grit in your motor. If you don't, you'll probably have it in your motor, and that will mean one short life motor. Now, a little paint buildup on the top surface here too, but that's not a major concern. The lifter block only slides down, it just has to have an O-ring surface to seal against, which is what all this paint is we're taking off right now. So the top 1/4 inch of hole is where the seal goes, so that's where you have to have it nice and clean. The rest of it's for just letting the lifter block go in the hole. Sometimes they're really tight, sometimes they're not. That's something I will be checking before I assemble the crank here. Last time to find out you got a problem with fitting your lifter block when the whole motor's together. It's kind of hard to do anything about it at that point. You either got to hone the holes out a little bit, or you got to sand down the lifter blocks. Usually I want to do in the lifter blocks because the case is already done when I find out it's too tight. See, I'm not using much pressure when I'm doing this. You're not trying to gouge the aluminum up because you want the O-ring to seal when you're done. Mainly just using a scraping action. Cleans it out there. I don't know if you're picking this up or not, but anyway, you get the idea. So, alright, well, I'm going to keep doing this and I'll be back. Wherever I see paint, I got to get it scraped off. So, I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, I got all the parts all cleaned up, ready to put together. So, this is all the loose stuff here. I cleaned up all these other parts, cranks all cleaned up. I still got to go through it first before I put together. I got the cases cleaned up. I made sure the lifter blocks go up in here most of the way before they get tight, so they're all in there good. And I welded up the hole that transfers over to the other side over here. That'll be that hole right there. So that no longer is functional because it's welded up from this side. And I've also pulled out the seals that were in here, and on the other side of the bearing there. So I got to put new seals in it. We got a new gasket set right up here, so using James gaskets. So all ready to go. One thing I didn't true the crank up, so I need to check the trueness on this crank, make sure it's good. I cleaned up the pinion shaft here. There's a lot of old marks on it. I'm gonna go ahead and I went ahead and honed it, so it's got a nice smooth finish on it again. And I gotta replace the seal in here yet. And I checked the bush in here, and the bush in here is okay. It's a little loose, but it's all right. You know, this was never a 100% rebuilt motor. It was rebuilt, but not. We didn't replace everything on the motor when we did it years ago. So it is what it is. So we didn't take it apart to rebuild it. We took it apart to fix the left case that was broken. So Alright, so these are pretty well fitted, so I'm going to lay these over here out of the way. Lay them in order so I know which hole goes in which. A couple them a little bit tighter than others, so I rearrange them until they fit decently. I'll do the same thing I did before. Okay, so the crank's ready to go in at this point. So I need to get the crank trued up. So let's take this ball game over here to the truing department. There's a chassis it's going into. There's our truing stand. Of course, I got a lot of junk in the way. Okay, a little bit of oil on the tapers. Dry. Okay, let's get back with the crank. Okay, crankshaft. So far over. It wasn't adjusted for a Sportster, I see. It's for a Bigfoot. Probably painted or something I did last. Okay. Sure, we're going to put that where you can see what I'm going to do to it. First, I need to get a little light on the subject. That might help a little bit. Junk out of the way would help. Don't make it too easy to see what we're doing. Okay. First thing I do, I got to take the snap ring off over here. Put that around so I can see what you're looking at. And what do we got going on here? Who knows? Stupid camera. Alright. So first thing I do is I got to pull the snap ring out of the way so I can get slide the bearing over so I can get access to the shaft. Of course I don't see where the clip is at. It's obviously not there. There we go. I have no idea if you can see what I'm doing because I can't see the screen on the camera. Get the camera over, you can see what I'm doing a little bit. There, now I can see what's going on. Okay, so we gotta get the snap ring off of here. So what I do is I rotate the crank a little bit. Under each slot here, you work on there, the screwdriver, pop under there and pull it like this. It gets it out of the snap ring groove right there. It helps to have my other hand over there to help hold it up. Well, I just push it back in because I don't have my other hand available right in a second. we go. So I get that out of there. I can slide the bearing over. If I come out too far, they're going to fall out. So I just want to go over enough to get this in here. There. I should be able to see what I'm doing. If these come out any much further, they're going to all be loose. I have a problem. Okay, we've got our bearing spacer over here, and to get rid of. These just fall right out of there. Figures. This one won't. I think it's about the first time I ever had one that wouldn't fall over. Alright, it's going to take 2 hands to move that over. I'll put the camera back. You have to get area to put your indicators against so you can see if it's running true or not. Alright. There it goes. It is tight on there. Alright, it's off. Oil and stuff off of it. So we rotate to see what the indicators are doing. So this one's moving 2 lines over here, and this one over here is moving at least a line. So now I get to figure out how to straighten it. I don't think the camera's really seeing what's happening too much over here. Better view of it maybe. Alright. So when the indicators go toward the center of the flywheel here on the high side, that means the shaft has been up. So right now it's high right here and the crank pin's here, so it needs to go down. The other one is high in about the same spot. Yep. So you got 2 high spots together, so that means you squeeze the flywheel right here a little bit. Now we're 1 here and 2 over here, so if you hit it right here, it'll collapse the whole flywheel down and move them both at once. So you got 2 different ways of doing things. You can squeeze it with a clamp, or you can hit it with a hammer. I'm going to go ahead and use a clamp this time. See what happens. Not much. So the left side doesn't seem to have too much wrong with it. It's this right side here is where most of the air is out. Sometimes you want to bend the right side, not the left, more or less. So that means you got to wedge it underneath the left flywheel to keep it from moving too much. But you also don't want to rotate either, so you got to be careful how much you do this. Give it a couple light hits to kind of get an idea where things are at. Indicator popped off. False good. Okay. Indicator's hitting the crank pin, so I move it over a little bit, or the flywheel casting. We're still high about here. The other one's kind of high more on this side. So high here and high here. It's going to rotate on the crank pin, so you want to kind of hit it here with the wedge under the other flywheel. Once again, I know how hard to hit it, so just give it a light hit. Kind of see what it does. If it doesn't move, you can hit it harder. So it doesn't look like it really moved any. So hit a little bit harder. So high right there. It's low right here. It's high right here. So they're about high in the same spot. They're getting closer to each other in the air, so do that again. We might have twisted it, we don't know yet. Okay, that side quit moving. This side over here is moving more than it was. Seems to be high in about the same spot though. Just give it a little bit of love tap right there. Kind of brought them both about a little bit less than full line. They're high in different spots. This one's high here, the other one's high on the other side. So this one's high right here, the other one's high over here. So we have a twist and we twisted it too much when we hit it before. We can move it back now a little bit. Okay, the left side pretty much quit moving. The right side still is off just a little. Appears to be high right here. Left one I can't really notice too much. Hit right dead center. A little bit past. Past. So this one's low here, this one's high here, so they're 180 apart. So you're not going to be able to fix that. Not very easily. Jam up this side, you beat on this side. Trying to twist it at the crank, or not twist it, you're trying to bend it at the crank pin. And we're only talking maybe 1/1000 most. Back high over here. That one's high over here. So we have a slight twist. A little bit heavy on that side right there. Kind of high there. Just 180 parts, it's going to be hard to do any better. So we're going to leave it where it is right now. here so you can see what I'm doing. You can see how both indicators are not really moving all that much. There's the right one. The left one, every time it hits one of these grooves over here, it bounces, so it's giving it kind of hard to read. Okay, rotate around. So anyway, you can see how they're both not moving by much. So that's close enough for what we need. Okay, I'm going to go clean this up. We'll be back.